I'm done wrestling. You'll never see me again.
That's it. You're done.
Like, you'll never see me in any other capacity or in any other company.
All right, guys, we are back here. We're going to soon talk about Toni Storm. She's going to explain why she will always be with AEW forever. Let's tune in more to the Pink Square Circle and talk about it. Hey, guys, we're back at the Pink Square Circle. We will talk about why Toni Storm will always be AEW, why Toni Storm will retire in AEW. So let's talk about Toni Storm. Now, Toni Storm, we know, is the current AEW Women's World Champion in a record-setting 4th title run that she's doing right now. Now, we know Toni Storm, before arriving at AEW, she was in WWE. She started on NXT, and she had a very short run on the main roster before asking to be released from her contract in 2021, late 2020, and start with AEW in 2021. And ever since then, she was in a stable with Saraya and Ruby Soho, the Outcast, but ever since she done a timeless Toni Storm character, she's pretty much been on a hell of a run. Much credit to Toni Storm, character, development, promo, storylines, everything. But she did her interview recently with Sandman podcast talking about how she will always stay with AEW. Even if AEW goes under or folds, she is going to stop there. She's not going to go back to to WWE or any other company for that matter. Now, I know she also did an interview with MVP. I think the podcast was some Swayze, if I said his name correctly. But she always talked about, I know some of the interviews she compares her run with AEW to WWE. She talks about the counter program and everything else. But she really likes being in AEW. She likes how she can have control over her character, have some leeway and say so what she can or cannot do for that matter. And, she was asked these questions about creative freedom and talking about what she's going to do if something happened to AEW in both interviews, which we'll get into in a second. But Toni Storm, I believe with her character right now, timeless Toni Storm, is perfect for AEW. It's perfect for the company, perfect for the system, the women's division. And I don't think it will work any other company but AEW. But let's see what Toni Storm said in both these interviews right here.
I'm done wrestling. You'll never see me again.
That's it. You're done.
Like, you'll never see me in any other capacity or in any other company for that matter.
This is AEW, is it for you?
Exclusive. And then,
exclusive.
I will vanish with that. And
wow.
There's no encore. This is it.
This is it. This run is it.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything else. Like, where would I go? What would I do? Because I'm on a long deal for AEW. Like, I'm signed my life to AEW.
How
You're
much
locked in.
time do you have left there?
I'm on a 5-year deal, and I can't remember how long. But I'm a lifer for AEW. There's no we'll see what happens.
I know what you feel like. I always thought that in ECW until something happened that I never would have thought would have happened. But yeah, I know
that does
exactly
happen a lot
what
in
you
wrestling,
feel
though.
like.
Yes,
But
crazy shit happens. But as of now, AEW for life.
For you, the other side, where you were in WWE and you weren't happy there, that's you'd never be an option again. You didn't like.
And that's no offense to them. I think they're great. And I understand them for exactly what they are. They're a machine, they're a business, and I just don't fit in with their whole shtick, and that's cool. And it's like I love it, and I love a lot of the people that work there. And it's like, yes, get that money, get that power. But, realistically, in my life, that's it. I'm not going to, how old can I do this? How long can I do this? I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely getting old. We've established that.
I am, withered.
You are not withered.
But I could do another 20 years with AEW.
Okay,
sure.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean by creative freedom? Because I hear this a lot now. What does that mean? Creative freedom, in regards to what?
Creative freedom, as far as
how the storylines on the television show are written.
It's his question. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say. Here's my note.
No, yes. So,
Yes.
what do you think of when you hear creative freedom?
So for me, creative freedom, I'm thinking that the ability for you to do what you want to do with the storyline
Right.
outside of being, told by whoever
Like,
creative
this
is.
you. I don't know. I've gone through wrestling during very obscure periods where, like, I don't know, because I don't know what your interpretation of it is, or anyone's. But it's nice, I suppose. But, like, I don't know.
Well, I guess because, from what people hear,
Right.
and coming from WWE, there is an environment there where you are told what you're going to do. And you're going to do it to the best of your ability. And if you don't like it, you're not going to be around very long. Unless you get to a certain level where you have a level of creativity that is appreciated by the higher ups, you understand the craft, and you're about business, as they say, and you come up with ideas.
Yeah.
And what I have found, in my experience, the people who are the smartest and the best come up with storyline ideas, not just for themselves, but for other people as well, where we come out of this uplifted. I come up here, that person comes up that.
Yeah.
And in terms of creative freedom, being able to say, hey, I'd really like to work with this person, and here are some of the things that I'd like to do.
Well, here's the thing this is where I get stuck on it. In the WWE, I don't think I was told what to do enough. I wasn't told to do anything, actually.
Which is,
I wasn't told, obviously you're told what to do in a certain, in a certain circumstance, but overall, I don't feel like I was told what to do enough.
so you
I
felt
was
like you weren't
very
given
lost.
enough direction.
Yeah. There's direction in things like, this is how you do it.
Now, Toni Storm talks about in the Sandman podcast how she's AEW for life. She's going to always be with the company. She's enjoying her time there. She likes Tony Khan as a boss. She likes her character. She loves the direction that's going and everything else for that matter. However, an interview with the MVP, and I can't get that guy's name right, but Swayze or Mark Swayze, whatever his name is, she said that she had no problem with WWE as far as guiding her what she should do, but that was the problem. She don't feel like she was guided enough, or at all for that, or lack of. She don't think she was guided enough to where she should do creatively. She thought that WWE just told her what to do. That was it. Did give it a proper direction. Now, I remember when Toni Storm did make it from NXT UK, from NXT, of course, going to the main roster. She was on WWE SmackDown. She had a storyline where she would charge the then SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. I know they had a whole storyline where her and Charlotte was hitting each other faces with the pie. If you guys remember that, back in, I believe, late 2020-ish or 2021. And seemed like she was a good challenger for Charlotte Flair, but I guess Toni just knew that WWE was not the place for her, and she didn't think it could go anywhere for her career. So she requested release, like I said earlier, and she went on to AEW. Now, I think that even though the Triple H is running creative and the whole landscape of WWE has changed since Tony left, some people may say Toni Storm should work in WWE now. Her whole character, everything will work then. Compared to back then, it wouldn't work. It would work now, or she should leave AEW or stay where she at. I would say, regardless who's running WWE, the way they run their company, I think Toni Storm should stay in AEW, because the timeless Toni Storm character, for you guys know, she's very vulgar. Even on Dynamite, the stuff she says in her attire and the way she dresses and carries herself, that's not something WWE so much will let her get away with. They're going to put barriers over her character of what she should say And timeless Toni Storm, we see right now AEW. She goes from AEW back to WWE. She's gonna be pretty much a watered down version of that character, and I think it would just not be genuine at all. It would not be pure. It would be very, very unrealistic, and it'll get to the point where they would want Toni Storm to revert back to her old character, where she had the baseball cap backwards and everything else. So the rock star Toni Storm. But I believe that Toni Storm, if something were to happen with AEW, if the company did fold, I think she should just retire, because it's the success that she is getting right now, the notoriety, I don't think she's going to gain that anywhere else. Anything else would be lackluster and second tier for someone like Toni Storm, because she has created a great, great character, and she created something magical in AEW. That's why she's the champion right now. That's why Tony Khan, he likes Toni just as much as she likes him, because they have a great working relationship. And I think it'd be best for her to retire. Now, and also in the Sandman interview, which I don't have this clip, but she did say that she's been wrestling since she was 13 years old. Remind you, Toni Storm is 30. So that lets you know right there, she's already been wrestling for 17 years. So I don't see Toni wrestling no more than an extra 10 years. She also stated in the interview with Sandman that she plans on settling down with children. Now, she's married to Juice Robinson, who's also in AEW. Says she plans on having kids. So Toni's not going to wrestle much longer, 5 to 10 years max. If she do wrestle that much longer, it would definitely be on a part-time schedule if AEW is still around at that time. I'm just being realistic. Companies come and go all the time. But I don't see her wrestling much longer after that. I didn't even know she wrestled training since she was 13 years old. So that is very, very long wrestling already. And Toni is so young, only at 30 years old. So I don't see her wrestling much more. And AEW more likely is going to be, and she already said it, I could see it being the final stop of her career, because she's already traveled overseas. She's wrestled, I think she already wrestled in the UK, other parts of the country, then worked her way to NXT UK, being in WWE, now AEW. It's really not that much more for her to do. I can't see her going to TNA. That's way below her. I can't see her going to Japan. I can't see her going to any other independent wrestling company. She's already worked for WWE. She's not going to return to that company. So it'll make sense for Toni Storm to end her career in AEW. I don't see anywhere else she will go. And then too, besides timeless Toni Storm, what other character could Toni come up with that would be pretty much a legendary character? Something like she's doing right now. I don't see that either. I think that's pretty much going to be it for Toni Storm as far as that goes. I mean, sky's the limit for her with this character, but anything else, I just don't see clicking unless she come up with another great character that's going to be innovative. I don't see that happening with her. Timeless Toni Storm is really going to be it. And I'm very happy the way that character went. I remember when it debuted. It was right after the Outcast stable had broken apart. But yeah, there's no other option for Toni Storm. And like I said, if she has more days behind her than in front of her, unfortunately. Like I said, she could do a part-time schedule or a seasonal schedule later on in the future. But that's pretty much it. But Toni's had a great run, and I hope she continues to have a great run for her career. But other than that, though, guys, that's all I have for why Toni Storm will always be at AEW, why Toni Storm will retire in AEW. You guys let me know what you think of Toni Storm, her current run as timeless Toni Storm in AEW. You guys click the link below to the next video. And, of course, guys, I will see you guys later.